Chances are you clicked on this video because you wanted to see my weekly post, or it's because you wanted to get into snowboarding but just don't know where to start. Luckily, I can satisfy both of those needs. My name is Trennen Burcher. I've been snowboarding since around the age of 4, and now I have the desire to pursue it as a career. I've been a snowboard instructor for the past 3 years now, so I kind of understand this teaching thing, and I hope you learned something new at the end of this video. But if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to drop a comment down below. With that being said, let's find out what your stance is, aka finding out your dominant foot. You can find out which foot's your dominant foot by just thinking of which foot's like the stronger one. Like if you were to kick a ball, what foot would you kick the ball with? I'd kick the ball with my right foot. That would mean that I would strap in with my left foot and push with my right foot. This would be called regular stance if I'm going down the mountain like that and that's my nose. This is called regular stance. And if I have my right foot into the board and going down the hill like that, this is called goofy. Doesn't mean anything, it doesn't matter, but that's just the names. I'm regular and yeah. Next thing I'm going to show you guys is if you don't already have your bindings on your board like how I do, I'm going to show you guys how to figure out your direction of your stance. Because if you notice, this binding is a little more crooked than this one. This one's more straight, parallel to the board, and this one's a little more crooked. So I'll show you guys in depth what this means and why I have it like this. It'll be the same for most bindings. It'll be right here in the middle. You'll see the base plate. Now the base plate is what sets the binding at a direction. See how mine's kind of diagonal? That's what sets it at a direction. Mine's at 27. If you look very closely, there's a triangle right where my finger is pointing to the number 27. That means that the direction of this binding is set at 27. That's why it's kind of diagonal. If it were at 0, it would look like this one, which is at 0. And if it were at negative 27, it would be flipped. Now how I'm gonna strap in is I'm gonna lift the high back up, move the bindings out of the way, and put my foot in there. How it works is these are just teeth that you feed the binding clip into. So as you can hear, it's clipping on. You want to make sure your foot is nice and secure. You don't want it like being able to wiggle around like this inside of the binding. You want to make it nice and secure so your foot isn't moving around. Now that my left foot is strapped in, this is how we would push around. We would push with our back foot, or because my binding is set at 27 directional, it's comfortable for me to push like this if I were going that way. And that's a little pro tip that I think a lot of people are sleeping on, is that everybody pushes like this. Everybody pushes behind them on their heel side edge, and nobody pushes in front of them just because their front binding isn't set at 27. Pushing like this, you get way more power, I feel like. It's just like pushing on a skateboard. You don't push on a skateboard like this. So I'd say if you want to learn how to push, learn both. I know how to do both. Learn this one first, and then as you get more advanced, maybe switch up your front binding to 27 and push like this. If you're trying to find a snowboard for cheap costs, they don't really come in cheap costs. I mean, you can go on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and try to find one there for like 50 bucks or something. But most good new snowboards will probably cost you around $300, $500, or even $700. That's just the board itself. These bindings here can cost you well up to $200. I'd say if you get a pair of bindings for 100 or less, that's a pretty good deal. Another good thing to have as a beginner snowboarder are stomp pads. This is a terrible stomp pad because this doesn't cover the surface area of where your foot needs to be at all, because these stupid ones are like individual and they pop off. They give you like 8 or 6 of them and you like put them on where you want, but they pop off individually. Other stomp pads are all one piece. I'll put some on screen right now. It covers up the whole surface area of where your foot would go. And what I mean by where your foot would go is that when you're traversing across snow and not having your second foot strapped in because you're not going down a hill, you're just going straight on a flat surface. When you're pushing, this is where you put your foot in the meantime. Say you give a good push, put your foot up back on the board. It's not like you're constantly have this back foot off the board. You put it back on while you're gliding. And that's pretty much all you should know as a beginner snowboarder. I'm not gonna try to drag this video out. All you gotta do now is just get out there and practice. My best advice for somebody learning how to snowboard is to just get out there and try. I can't teach you through the screen, you have to learn yourself. The more you practice, the more you'll just keep getting better, better, and better. Just like how I said in the beginning of the video, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to drop them down below. If you guys like these educational videos and wanna see more of me discussing topics like this, more in-depth guides, then leave a comment. Again, learning how to snowboard is really hard. Don't feel discouraged if you go out and fail. That's the whole part of the learning process. Everybody fails, and it'll take you a few years to even just get comfortable riding. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next Saturday.